Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranams, Haribol, Haribol. So today, Monday, 29th of January, and we're speaking from Godrum, the actual house, the place where Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote this remarkable scripture, Jaiva Dharma. Somehow or other, we have the fortune to be residing. He lived here for about 10, 12 years in this place of Surabhikunj, and this is where he wrote the Jaiva Dharma. So we're very blessed indeed to be beaming out from here today with his words of Jaiva Dharma. So we'll have a short kirtan, and then we'll begin to speak on Jaiva Dharma. If Sachi can tell me how the sound is, just waiting for that confirmation. Okay. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari O Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Jaya Girivardhari Jaya Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Jaya Girivardhari Jaya Girivardhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Shodana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Tira Vanachari O Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari O Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare Hare Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare 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 Krishna Oh Hare Rama Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Oh, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Oh, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari. Jaya Nityananda Rai, Jaya Nityananda Rai, Nityananda Rai, Jaya Nityananda Rai. Oh, Jaya Sachi Nandan, Jaya Gaura Hari, Sachi Nandan, Jaya Gaura Hari. Oh, Jaya Radha, Madana Mohan Radha, Madana Mohan Radhe. Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe. Oh, Radhe, 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 Radhe. Jai Shishi Guru Garanga Gan Habika Girit Hari. Radha Madan Mohan Ju ki jai, Brishabhana Nandini Vajeshwari Radharani ki jai, Nityananda Rai ki jai, Sachinandana Gaurahari ki jai, Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai, Surabhi Kunj ki jai, Jai Nitya Lila Pravishta Om, Astotara Shishimad Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj ki jai, Jai Nitya Lila Pravishta Om, Astotara Shishimad Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Astotar Shishimad Shila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Jai Jagat Guru Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Astotar Shishimad Shila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Paramahamsa Mahabhagavat Shila Gaur Kishodas Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Jai Saptam Goswami Shila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai. Jai Vaishnav Sabhaboma Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Jai Shila Baladev Vidyabhushan Gaudiya Vedantara ki jai. Jai Rasik Sirumani Shila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur ki jai. Jai Narottam Srinivas Shyamananda Prabhu Treya ki jai. Jai Shila Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami ki jai. Jai Shri Rup Sanatan Shri Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Dasa Raghunath Sad Goswami Prabhu's ki jai. Jai Swarab Damodar Rai Ramananda Gauda Parsada ki jai. Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem Sika Holsi Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Shri Gauda Bhakta Brinda ki jai. Shri Antadvip Mayapur Simantadvip Gaudrundvip Madhyadvip Koladvip Ritudvip Janadvip Mordamdvip Rudradvip Atmakanavadvip Dham ki jai. Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopi Go Govardhan Dwadasa Varmatmaka Shri Brajamandal ki jai. Shri Radha Kund Shama Kund Ganga Devi Damuna Devi Tulsi Devi Bhakti Devi ki jai. Shri Vrinda Devi Maharani ki jai. Shrimati Punamasi Devi Yogamaya Maharani ki jai. Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev ki jai. Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Sudarshan Chakra ki jai. Ketra Mandal ki jai. Sarva Vigna Vinashakari Shina Shingadev Bhagavan ki jai. Bhakta Prava Shri Prahlad Maharaj ki jai. Charidam ki jai. Chari Sampradaya ki jai. Chari Acharya ki jai. Akara Mataraj Shri Chaitanya Mat ki jai. Shri Devananda Gaudiya Mat ki jai. Shri Keshavji Gaudiya Mat ki jai. Shri Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Ananta Gauda Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Samagata Vatla Vrinda ki jai. Gauda Premanandi Hari Hari Bol. Om Vagina Timirandasya Gyananjala Shalakaya Chakshu Unmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadabhaktaya Namo Namaha Priya Surupe Daita Surupe Prema Surupe Sahajabi Rupe Nijana Rupe Prabhueka Rupe Tatana Rupe Swavilasa Rupe Anapita Chirim Chirat Kuruna Vartino Kalo Samarapaitam Unnata Ujvala Rasam Swabhakti Shriyam Hari Purata Sundaratu Tikatamba Sadipita Sada Hridare Kandare Sparatu Vasachinandanaha Yam Pravajantamanapetyam Apeti Krityam Dvaipaino Viraha Katara Ajuhava Putre Titam Mayateo Taravo Binedustam Sarvabhutam Hridimunimanatoshmi Bhaktiya Vihina Aparada Lakshay Shiptascha Karmadi Tarangamadye Kripa Maitvam Sharanam Prapana Brinde Namaste Charanarvindam Bhajami Radham Aravindanetram Smarami Radham Madhurashmitasyam Vadami Radham Karuna Baradram Tato Mamanasti Katyena Gapi Tavaivasmi Najivami Tvaivina Iti Vignaya Radhe Tvam Nayaman Charantikam. I'm first of all offering millions and millions of Dandavat pranams unto the lotus feet, my most beloved Gurudev, Nitya Lila, Pravishta Om, Asto Tarazadashi Shimad, Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. And I'm offering the same again millions of times unto the lotus feet of our beloved Nitya Lila, Pravishta Om, Asto Tarazadashi Shimad, Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. And again, I'm offering my Dandavat pranams to Namo Bhakti Vinodaya, Satchidananda Namini, Gauda Shakti Swarupaya, Rupanuga Vrayate, and all our illustrious Rupanuga Guru Vargya, and all the Vaishnav and Vaishnavi devotees of the Lord. My Dandavat pranams to all of you. Hare Krishna. Vansha Kalpatarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhubhyevacha, Patitanam Pavnibhyo Vaishnave Namo Namaha. So coming to our Falshruti, first 5 verses. Pritivite yatakata dharma namachale, Bhagavata kahi sabha paripurna chale. As indicated in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1.2, that's dharma projita kaitavatra parama nirmatsaranam shatam, that there's no cheating in this Bhagavatam. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is reminding us of Srimad Bhagavatam in the very first line, in the very first mood of Bhagavatam. This Bhagavatam is the most glorious of Shastras. How do we glorify that Bhagavatam simply? This beautiful verse. Aradeyo Bhagavan Brajesha Tanayas Taddama Vrindavanam Ramya Kachit Upasana Braja Vardur Vargena Vakalpite Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam Prema Pumato Nata Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Matam Idam Tatradoro Naparaha. This is saying, who is that personality who's most worshipable? He's the son of the king of Brajeshwari, Brajeshwara. Aradeyo, that person I'll worship. Aradeyo, Bhagavan, Brajeshwara. Tanayadam Vrindavanam, and his immaculate dharma of Vrindavan. So straight away we're getting these conceptions of Vrindavan and the personality of Krishna. Krishna's name is qualified as being the son of Nanda Baba, because there may be another Krishna somewhere, but this is the son of the king of Braj. This is specifically, and his dham is Vrindavan. And then Ramya Kachit Upasana Braja. Upasana means worship. Who demonstrates the highest worship to this supreme personality of Godhead? It's the Braja Ramanis, the gopis of Vrindavan. Brajavadus, the wives of the cowherd men of Vrindavan. They worship this personality with the highest exhibition of affection known to man. Nothing exists beyond this. And then the third line, Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam Prema Pumato Nata. This is the Amala, the absolute, immaculate, perfect evidence for this understanding that Krishna is the supreme and he's worshipped by the gopis. The evidence is the immaculate Srimad Bhagavatam. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur is mentioning this straight off. And then the fourth line is so beautiful. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Matam Idam Tatraro Naparaha. That this is the opinion of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu concurs with this. So you have all the entire philosophy just in one verse glorifying Srimad Bhagavatam. Huh? Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur wrote that. I put that in the WhatsApp group 2 days ago, but you didn't reread it. So what can I do? It's there on the plate, but you're not eating it. You're not eating it. Very good, very good, very good. But nevertheless, keep up with the verses. And we can make a compilation of all these different verses because we're putting many verses into the WhatsApp thread. So, where does it appear, this verse? Huh? Where does it appear, this verse? This is written by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, and he's glorifying the Srimad Bhagavatam in this verse. Very beautiful. All the philosophies on earth that are celebrated as dharma are utterly deceptive. So this is a mighty statement that this is talking about naimitic dharma. And this is what we hear repeatedly in every single chapter. Don't hold on to something that's temporary and ineffectual in purifying the soul. That will be temporary dharmas. Chale dharma chadikara satya dharma mati chatuvargya tyaji dara nitya prema gati. One should completely abandon such deceptive dharmas and absorb his mind in true dharma. In other words, one should give up the fourfold goals of material life, dharma, artha, karma, moksha, and aspire solely for the ultimate destination of nitya prem. One should even give up moksha, that liberated condition. If we're focusing on attaining Vaikuntha, this is a glorified moksha destination where the four principal liberated conditions are there: Salokya, Samipya, Sharasti, and Sarupya. This is the atmosphere of Vaikuntha. Vaikuntha is across the Vaitarani river. It's across the Viraja river. It's in the spiritual realm. It's an eternal realm. But it's not the highest conception that Mahaprabhu has come to encourage us to aspire for at this time. Anapita chirim chirat, we say every day. Not for a long, long time has Mahaprabhu distributed this opportunity to go beyond Vaikuntha. So we should be quite sure of this. If we're just still in the bracket of wanting liberation, this is not in our best interest. According to the teachings of Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, Jiva Goswami in particular, Gopal Bhatta Goswami, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj, all are instructing gurus in our Guru Vargya are discussing Raganuga Bhakti. Raganuga Bhakti is beyond those considerations of liberation in Vaikuntha. It's beyond there. It's in the Dham, the holy Dham of Goloka Vrindavan. That is where Madhurya, full Madhurya. There is Madhurya in Ayodhya. There is Madhurya in Dwarka, but not to the same degree as it is in Goloka Vrindavan. We have a choice. Understand, we've got to set our compasses on attaining a specific destination when we leave this. The holy name will give us so much empowerment, but where are you going to go with that empowerment? I often give the example like filling a car with petrol or gas. Where are you going? All right, you've filled it up, you've chanted so many rounds. Now where are you going to drive to? You understand? You have to have a clear appreciation of what is the sadhya. Kriti sadhya bhavet sadhya bhav sasadhanabhida. Nitya siddhyasya bhavasya prakritamriti sadhyate. That this eternal bhav is residing eternally within the heart of the jiva. Its nature. Where do we want to go with that? If we're inspired by the Rasik Tattvavit Vaishnavas to go to the platform of Raganuga, because this is the platform that Mahaprabhu specifically is offering in this age. He never offered it before. It wasn't here before. What should we do? We're just being offered this incredible gift. But no, I don't have the adhikar for it. No, it's too high for me. No, I won't go there. Why are we born in this particular time where this truth is available and being spoken about? And you can read about it. Even if it's not spoken about, you can read about it. Certainly in Jaiva you can read about it. In the last 14 chapters, you can read very clearly about it. But no, I'm not purified enough. If you think like that, then you must read, please, my Gurudev's essay in the front, his introduction to Venu Geet. Yes, that is so beautiful. You can't purify yourself sufficiently to receive Krishna's mercy. You can only appreciate Krishna, and then his mercy will come. You can fall in love with Krishna, then his mercy will come. You're not going to crash the gates of heaven by your own sadhan bhajan. You can't do that. It's not a material consideration. It's a completely spiritual gift. This avaroha panta. What avaroha means descending, like avatar. That's how we can remember avatar, avaroha. And the ascending path is called what? Aroha. Two paths, don't forget them. Aroha, that's the ascending path. Oh, I will use my great tapas, my great focus of mind to crash the gates of heaven. What will happen? You'll bang your head on the gate. You won't get through. It's not like that. Because the total dynamic, we can say, is only about love. That's why. And you can only perform that connection in attraction when your own awareness builds sufficiently of Krishna's beauty and sweetness and speciality by hearing about Vrindavan, by hearing about the pastime. Vikridi tam Brajavadubi itam cha Vishnu. Shradan Vishnu, Shradan Vito, Nushrunyad Artha Varenyamya. Bhaktim Param Bhagavati Prati Labhya. This bhakti will arise after one has heard about Krishna. How can it arise before? You have to first of all fall in love with Krishna, and then devotion to Krishna will manifest. It can't be the other way round. If you perform so much tapasya and austerity, controlling the mind, what will happen? You'll probably become proud, but that's not going to bring you Krishna. Think deeply about these things. Scriptures are, this verse that I just quoted, Vikriditam Brajavadubi Itam cha Vishnu. This is the very last verse that is spoken in the Rasa Panchadya chapters. Chapter 33, it's the last chapter talking about the Ras Lila pastimes. Because Parikshit, he's asking these different questions. Why did Krishna come and perform such adharmic activities, apparently? Dancing with other men's wives. For what reason did he do that? Shukadev, he answers. And he describes Anugrahaya Bhaktanam, Manusyam Deha Ashridata, Bhajate Tat Drishi Kritva, Ya Shrutva Tatparo Bhavet. That Krishna manifests to show the splendor of his pastimes for one particular reason, to attract the conditioned souls to them. That's why he performs the pastimes. But if we're not hearing the pastimes, how can we expect bhakti to rise in the heart? You understand? It's so logical. It can't be any other way. And yet we have so many jnanis trying to figure it all out and everything like that. Their whole life spent immersed in, it's not this, it's not that, gyan and so on. It can't be the path. The path is one of love. When we get to the 16th chapter, it's going to be described the nature of these spiritual worlds is only love. There isn't anything else except love. Very hard for us to even imagine, because our world is filled with so much suffering and sorrow. How much sorrow is there in the day compared to how much happiness is in the day? For most people, it's pretty much like 90% suffering and maybe 10% a little bit of happiness. If you're quite, a foolish person, you'll get happy. You won't be considering the suffering of everybody else. But if you're a sensitive person, you'll be considering everyone else's suffering and be trying to help them. This material world is not a fit place for a gentleman, Prabhupada said. It's filled with suffering. But in order to attain bhakti, we must hear about the pastimes in Vrindavan. Tannama rupa charitadi sukirtano. Shmitya kramana rasanamasi dioja. Tishtem braje tanuragi janugami. Kalam nayam akilam iti upadesharam. 8th verse of Upadeshamrita. Rupa Goswami is saying, come to the holy dham, immerse the mind in the sound vibration of the holy name, and follow Tishtan Anuragi, follow the residents of the holy dham. Find those pure devotees. If you're looking for them, you'll find them. There's always pure devotees on the planet. If that's your intention, if that's our intention, we'll find them. Remember these teachings. Remember where you're going. Don't neglect the direction. Your compass, you have a compass. You have like a little, spaceship of the consciousness. We're going to move it somewhere in one direction. Jaiva Dharma is giving us that direction. Amitva mimam sabrame nija jada buddhi nirvishesha brahmagyan nahichira shuddhi. Those who are deluded identify themselves with matter, right? I'm identifying myself with matter because I think I can enjoy matter. So I can't enjoy matter unless I think I'm matter. If I think I'm spirit soul, I will look for that spiritual taste. And that has nothing to do with matter, right?
But after a while, it just becomes the habit, and you don't even consciously know do this in a conscious way. It's just habit.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's what we want to build. We want to build these very positive habits of having nothing to do with seeking happiness in this material. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, he says, when the enjoying spirit is there, know that humility is far away.
Mm.
Think about next time you take a meal, a wonderful meal from Janaki Didi. So many preparations, sweet rice, halava, mango halava, all kinds of amazing dishes. Oh, I'm so happy to receive this. That enjoying spirit is coming.
Mm.
But if I'm aware this is the Mahaprasad from Thakurji, and I'm in a dedicated fashion going to honor that Mahaprasad, and of course I will take pleasure from it, but I don't have that raging, enjoying spirit. That has to be purified. That is their error. However, one cannot be purified of such delusion by endeavors for nirvishesh brahmgyan. You can't reach this highest place just by trying to merge into the Brahmajyoti. We've said many times, most spiritual groups in the marketplace, that's what they're aspiring for. A negation of all material miseries. Shantaras. And Shantaras is most looked for in this material. Everyone wants to be peaceful. Are the gopis in Shantaras? Is anyone in Vrindavan in Shantaras? Not even the cows are in Shantaras in Vrindavan. They're all serving Krishna actively. It's a process. It's a wonderful, incredible process to embrace. Ivichrata hina hale nirvishesha hoy, kala samatolya seha aprakrita noy. The Mayavad thinks Sri Krishna to be subject to the limitations of time, such as birth and death, and considers he is not transcendental. So tragic. If you don't think the Supreme Lord is transcendental, how can you begin to consider what is transcendence? The Mayavadi is screwed from top to bottom, right? He's completely like finished. And who is Prabhupada talking about when he talks in Srimad Bhagavatam so many times in the first, second, third, fourth cantos about the Mayavadis? He's talking about us. We are the Mayavadis because we're trying to enjoy Krishna's property for my pleasure, not in service to Krishna. That makes me a Mayavad. It's very clear, you know? When you consider whether we can live up to this or not is another consideration. That's our own private understand, but at least be in knowledge of the reality of it. At least be understanding, you know, where I'm failing and what I have to do to achieve auspicious success. At least I should know that. That's what Jaiva Dharma is teaching us. At least know the direction to set your compass. At least know that. Thus he rejects Sri Bhagavan's Vichitrata, astonishing characteristics, paraphernalia, qualities, and Leela. How tragic that you would neglect Krishna's Leela. Krishna's Leela involves the highest consideration of love in existence. Everybody in existence is looking for love. Even an ant will respond to some type of affection. If you give it some sugar, it'll respond. Everyone will respond to a loving mood. Everyone wants love to be loved. And they want to know how to reciprocate with love. But when you do it in the material world, it's all temporary, so never satisfying for the soul. But when we think of the loving pastimes between Radha and Krishna, and Radhika's Sakis, Lalita, Vishaka, Champakalata, Chitra, Tungavidya, Sudevi, Rangadevi, Induleka, all the gopis, and the Sakas, Madhumangal, Stoka Krishna, Subal, Sridham, Arjun, all the different pastimes that they played with each other. So playful, so beautiful. And if you neglect all of that, that's the Mayavadi's unfortunate situation.
So can we see this material world not so separate from the spiritual, but a place of training to attain that kind of life?
Don't say the world, say the spirit. The world, the objects, the Mother Bhumi is there as a personality, of course, but this world is a place where we can wake up our spirit soul. We have every opportunity in this birth, more so than previous millions and billions of births. This is what we really have to catch up. That enthusiasm in this life, because it's such a special life. It's not like your previous billions of births. Even in the human form, you never had recourse to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy before. But when this transcendental entity, the spirit soul, wakes up in connection with the supreme transcendental personality of Sri Krishna, then my fortune will become assured. That place, we say another verse, Savai Pumsam Paro Dharma, Yato Bhakti Adhoiksaje. What is the dharma for all humanity? Savai Pumsam. What is the highest dharma for all humanity? Sarvai Pumsam Paro Dharma, Yato Bhakti Adhoiksaje. Having devotion for that Adhoiksaje. That Adhoiksaje is the inconceivable Lord. And then in an unmotivated and uninterrupted condition of mind. And then the fourth line, Yeyatma suprasidati. This will satisfy the supersoul. And when the supersoul is satisfied, the jivatma will be satisfied. Yeyatma suprasidati. This will satisfy the heart. But it's all in the arena and atmosphere of love. That's the place. It's all about love. Loving Krishna as the object, not loving the self. The self naturally has to be acknowledged and fully respected and loved in the sense that we're doing the right um, sadhan bhajan to achieve transcendental success. Of course, the self has to be embraced and acknowledged as a transcendental entity. We should respect the self by following carefully the guidelines of Shastra that have been laid by the sages for our complete welfare. Um, Through this vicious attempt, he is left with the philosophy of Nirvishesh Brahm. Kanda jnana hoye dharma ache sunishchaya, prakriti hoyle kabu aprakrita naya. Such base and contemptible gyan, which arises out of an attempt to dismember the divine form of Bhagavan, is only fit to be rejected. It is prakrita, materialistic, and should never be given credence as aprakadam. It hurts the Lord when we turn our backs to him. And the Lord knows. Why does it hurt him? Because the Lord knows it's hurting us. I was determined not to stay too much today on the Falshruti, but I find it always inspiring, the Falshruti. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is giving his whole heart in this Falshruti. So let's come now to our chapter 8, page 181. We've read about Nityananda. He's inquiring as to his own personal adhikar. So we can consider also in this discussion, what is my adhikar? Try to relate with how Nityananda is responding to describing his own life and see how I am acting in my own life and on which platform am I on. And if I realize or if I think that I'm certainly on the Kanishta platform, then quickly come to the Madhyam platform. Quickly come to that devotional platform where we're seriously taking this path carefully. So Babaji is saying at the top of 181, the two primary characteristics of a Kanishta Vaishnava are his faith in the eternal form of Bhagavan and his worship of the deity. His secondary characteristic are the devotional activities that he performs, such as hearing, chanting, remembering, and offering prayers. So this is the Kanishta platform. Nityananda, One cannot be a Vaishnava unless he has faith in the eternal form of Bhagavan and worships the deity according to the regulations of Shastra. So I can well understand why these two are primary symptoms. However, I cannot understand why hearing, chanting, remembering, and other such activities are secondary. Good question. Okay? Babaji, the Kanishta Vaishnava is not acquainted with the intrinsic nature of Shuddha Bhakti. That's what I'm saying. If you don't set your compass, if you're not understanding what is pure bhakti, what is pure devotion, how can I actually make progress? I have to know what is Shuddha Bhakti, of which hearing, chanting, and so on are angas, limbs. Consequently, his hearing and chanting do not assume their primary identity, but are manifest as a gona secondary form, because he's not properly focusing. The Kanishta is not properly focusing on the direction where he's going. He's just worshipping the deity like a parrot, like a robot, automatically just 1, 2, 3, 4, yes, worshipping like that. There's no sambandha, no connection has actually happened with his Thakurji. Perhaps in an institutional environment, it's very difficult to develop a rapport with the deities because so many other people might be worshipping them. You don't think this is my deity, but we have to think this is my deity. If I'm going to perform real worship, I have to think, yes, this is my deity, and other people are serving him also. You understand? But unless I have that mamata for Thakurji, then where is my sambandha? He's not even there. Furthermore, whatever arises from the three gunas, sattva, goodness, raja, passion, and tama, ignorance, is known as gona. Yes. When these activities become nirgun, beyond the gunas, free from the influence of material modes, they are angas of Shuddha Bhakti, and one has attained the Madhyam stage. Very beautiful. Quickly become freed from these gunas pushing us. That means controlling the mind, controlling the senses, not allowing these sensual attractions to carry us away. It requires deliberation. And certainly by chanting more, you're already doing that because you've restricted physically other activities that you might be doing. You're only sitting, you're only chanting. That has tremendous benefit. You're not looking here and there and cycling and walking and, oh, what's this? What's this? What do we have for dinner? What do we do for this? All this chit chat just drags the mind away into another um, seeking material pleasure, because the mind is always looking for material pleasure. And the contradiction of that is the soul is not. So we have to connect with that. Nityananda Das, how can the Kanishta Vaishnava be called a bhakta when he is contaminated with the faults of karma and gyan, and his heart is filled with desires for things other than bhakti? Okay, we should consider this is us. Babaji, one becomes eligible for bhakti once he has attained shraddha. Everything is on the platform of shraddha, which is the root of bhakti. There is no doubt then that he is situated at the doorway of bhakti. What is the doorway of bhakti? Sharanagati. That is the doorway to bhakti. Sharanagati is about us. It's not about devotion to Krishna. It's about my attitude of submissiveness to Krishna. That's what Sharanagati. There's no mamata in there. There's no sambandha developed. The word shraddha means vishvas, belief. When the Kanishta Bhakta awakens belief in the divine deity, he becomes eligible for bhakti. What is this? The bhakti lata bij that Guru gives the jiva in the heart by his compassion. Krishna seva vasana, the desire to perform service to Krishna. And that gradually flourishes into a loving mood of loving service. This anukul prapti avilas. Bhagavat prapti avilas doesn't have that addition of the loving relationship. And then even more than anukul is sokhard abhilas. This is the friendship with Krishna. It develops again. This is the wonderment of this path. It's always increasing, it's always moving, it's never static, it's always ecstatic. Nityananda Das, when will he obtain bhakti? Babaji, the Kanishta Bhakta becomes a Shuddha Bhakta at the Madhyam level when his contamination of karma and gyan is dissipated and he desires nothing other than Ananya Bhakti, exclusive devotion. At that point, he understands that there is a difference between service to guests and service to bhaktas. Thus, he awakens a taste for serving the bhaktas, which is favorable for bhakti. If we're always doing some type of charitable work or just preaching to non devotees, this is wonderful, and this is part of our dharma, part of our path to do like that. But when you actually start speaking to devotees and encouraging devotees and serving devotees more focusedly, this is much, much more than just simply preaching on the street, so to speak. It's more than that. Nityananda Das. Shuddha Bhakti appears along with Sambandha Gyan. When is that knowledge awakened by which one becomes eligible for Shuddha Bhakti? Nice question. Babaji, true Sambandha Gyan and Shuddha Bhakti are manifest simultaneously when knowledge contaminated by Mayavad conceptions has been dispelled. This means not desiring my own sensual pleasures, but I'm looking to the satisfaction of Krishna's devotees, of my Guru, of Thakurji, in that order. How long does that take? Nityananda Das says. Babaji, the stronger a person's sukriti from past activities, the sooner he will attain it. Our previous sanskar and sukriti is very much tipping the balance here. If we've had previous births chanting Hare Krishna, of course it's going to give us a greater. We sometimes see if we're living in a temple place, a new person comes, and somehow or other they're just like on a rocket from the very beginning. We should understand that this person from his previous birth has been performing bhakti. And sometimes there's a really old man there and nothing's really kicked off for him. So this is his first time around. But nevertheless, we're following the process. Nityananda, what is the first result attained by past sukriti? Babaji, one attains sadhu sangha. Sadhu sangha, so beautiful. Sadhu sangha is the principle. Nityananda does. And what is the progression that evolves from sadhu sangha? Babaji, Srimad Bhagavatam 3:25-25 describes the systematic evolution of bhakti very succinctly. This is spoken by Kapila Dev to his mother Devahuti. Satam prasangam mamazvira samvido bhavanti hritkana rasanaya gata taj josephat sav apavargo vartmani shraddha rati bhakti anukramishyti. Shraddha, rati, that's bhav, and bhakti in this order. First shraddha, then rati, then shuddha bhakti. In the association of Sudha Bhaktas, the recitation and discussion of my glorious activities and pastimes are pleasing to both the heart and the ears. By cultivating knowledge in this way, one becomes established on the path of liberation and progressively attains Shraddha, then Bhav, and finally Prema Bhakti. This is the process. The beautiful verse. Kriti Sadhya. No. Klesh Agni Shubhada. This is the path of sadhan. Klesh means suffering. Agni means incinerated. As we're performing our sadhan, these kleshas become incinerated. Klesh Agni Shubhada. And then what is the consequence? All auspiciousness will come in the devotee's life. We'll see that. Everything seems to turn out favorably. Every endeavor we make, it seems to be positive. There doesn't seem to be any great stumbling blocks. We easily get our ticket to come to India. We easily settle in. We're finding our prasadam, etc. Everything becomes very, very simple. This is Klesh Agni Shubhada. This is the mercy that comes from sadhan bhakti. And then the next stage is bhav bhakti, moksha lukhatakrit. This is when we start to look down on moksha. We don't think moksha is such a big deal. We don't think liberation is something that I desire. And this stage is described as sudulabha, very, very rare. It's rare that someone should disdain moksha. But we're in a whole society of people who are disdaining moksha. The Vaishnavas are all encouraged to go for Shuddha Bhakti. No one here is going for moksha. Those in the Himalayas or some retreat somewhere or other in the mountains, perhaps they're all looking for moksha, but we're not looking for moksha or liberation. And this is rare. We should consider. And then the third stage is prem itself. Shuddha Sattva Visheshatma Sri Krishna Akashani Chasa. Oh, sorry, Sandra Ananda Visheshatma. Sandra Ananda. That's the most beautiful word. This Sandra Ananda. This means, Sandra means that nothing else can exist except Ananda. There's nothing else except Ananda. Nothing else can enter except bliss. Pretty nice, huh? Sandra Ananda. Then it says, Sri Krishna Akashani Chasa. This will attract Krishna. This prem will attract Krishna. So that's the stage of prem. So these are the three: sadhan bhakti, bhav bhakti, and prema bhakti. We'll publish this on the WhatsApp thread. Nityananda Das, how does one attain sadhu sangha? Babaji, I have already said that sadhu sangha is attained by sukriti acquired in previous births. This is explained in Srimad Bhagavatam 10:51-53. Bharva pavago brahmato yada bhavaj janasya tarya achutya sat samagama sat sangamo yari tadaiva sad gato para varesh tvai jayate rati. O Achyuta, the jivas have been wandering in the cycle of birth and death since time without beginning. When the time for his release from this cycle approaches, he obtains Sat Sangha. From that moment, he becomes firmly attached to you, who are the controller of both spirit and matter, and the supreme goal of attainment for the sadhus. Very beautiful. Very beautiful. So merciful of Bhaktivinoda Thakur to give us these Bhagavatam verses. Nityananda Das. It is only by sadhu sangha that a Kanishta Bhakta awakens an inclination for worshipping the deity. So how can it be said that he doesn't render any service to sadhus? I don't understand that. I'll read it again. It is only by sadhu sangha that a Kanishta Bhakta awakens an inclination for worshipping the deity. So how can it be said that he doesn't render any service to sadhus? Okay, so he has to render service to sadhus just to begin. I think that's what it's saying.
He says that it's a sadhu that makes him to do deity worship. So by that, he's actually doing the service to the sadhus.
Yes. The sadhu is encouraging him to do the seva.
So by that, he's actually...
Yes, he's serving the sadhus. Very good. Thank you. Thank you. Babaji, when one obtains sadhu sangha by good fortune, vishvasa, or belief in the divinity of the deity, awakens. Nevertheless, worship of the deity must be accompanied by service to the sadhus themselves. That was the difference. If the sadhu is neglected once you worship the deity, then this is not going to be progressive. Until this type of faith develops, one's shraddha is incomplete and one remains ineligible for ananya bhakti. Ananya bhakti means unfocused. Focused bhakti. Fully focused. Nityananda Das, what are the stages of progress for a Kanishta Bhakta? Babaji, suppose that Kanishta Bhakta worships the deity form of Bhagavan every day with faith, but is not free from the contaminations of karma, gyan, and extraneous desires. By chance, some guests come to him who happen to be bhaktas, and he welcomes and serves them, just as he would any other guests. The Kanishta Bhakta observes the activities and behavior of bhaktas and gets a chance to hear their discussions of spiritual topics based on the Shastra. In this way, he begins to develop great respect for the character of the bhaktas. This is the point. We should consider ourselves also as bhaktas. My Gurudev used to say all the time, don't consider yourself not a bhakta. Otherwise, what sort of guru am I if you're considering yourself not a bhakta? So consider yourself a bhakta and always act in an exemplary way with all people so that people will be attracted to the path of bhakti. We never know who somebody is. He might just be a milkman or a garland maker or a fruit waller or, you know, someone. We don't know who these people are. We should always have exemplary behavior, and then they will respect the path of bhakti. At this point, he became aware of his own defects. He begins to follow the behavior of the sadhus and to rectify his own behavior. Yes, he starts to look internal when he sees the good qualities of the sadhus. Gradually, his defects of karma and gyan begin to fade, and as his heart becomes purified, he becomes increasingly free from extraneous desires. He studies the Shastra by regularly hearing narrations of Bhagavan's pastimes and the fundamental ontological truths about Bhagavan. Very important. His Sambandha Gyan becomes progressively firmer as he accepts the transcendental nature of Bhagavan, Sri Nam, and the angas of bhakti, such as hearing and chanting. When his Sambandha Gyan becomes complete, he attains the stage of a Madhyam Vaishnava. It is at this point that he truly begins to associate with bhaktas. He can then perceive that bhaktas are vastly superior to ordinary guests, and he can begin to regard them on the level of guru. This is very important, to regard the bhaktas on the level of guru, which means I want to take instruction and guidance from all bhaktas. All sincere madhyams should be in a mood of distributing their truths, because he's on the madhyam platform. He can preach on the madhyam. Um, in some cases, eligibility neither in. Where was I up to? Where? Why is it that many Kanishta Bhaktas do not progress? Babaji, if the Kanishta Bhakta associates mainly with people who are inimical, his immature level of eligibility for bhakti quickly fades, and his eligibility for karma and gyan becomes prominent. In some cases, eligibility neither increases nor decreases, but remains exactly the same. In other words, if we don't seek seriously, enthusiastically, good association, we'll just remain with those who are also Kanishtas and not progressing. We're not going to move ahead in that type of association. We have to be hungry. And if you're hungry for that association, Krishna will arrange. That's his job. And he will arrange. He hears our heart cry for sadhu sangha, and he will arrange. And even if we're living far away like Finland, Sweden, those places, you still have internet these days. So even though this is the age of Kali, this technology is remarkable. Here I am speaking with so many people around the world, just sitting in Godram, that they can take some nourishment from Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Jaiva Dharma. So anywhere, we can always connect with a sadhu. There's no excuse. There's never any excuse for any shortfall in spiritual life. We can never say, well, Krishna didn't provide this or this or this. That's called the victim complex. Don't.
Exactly the same.
Huh?
It's not exactly the same.
We take the best we can. No, it's not exactly the same. Definitely it's not exactly the same, but what can we do? We're in the middle of Kali Yuga, the darkest Kali Yuga out of 1,000 Kali Yugas. And yet we have this little ray of light, even if it's a small ray of light, it'll be enough to keep that fire alive and moving. It'll be sufficient. We can't complain and we can't say, have excuses. It's like if we say, well, it's not enough, nothing's enough. Even if you're in the company about it, you say, well, I don't like that one, I like this one, and blah, 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 blah. All Grammy guitar starts to go on. So sometimes it can be very beneficial just to hear directly on a YouTube thing or whatever. It's not the best, no. It's not the best for the speaker either. I'm only looking at 4 people in the room today, but there's maybe 150, 200 on the stream, but I'm not seeing them all. Okay, Nityananda Das. When does that happen? When he associates equally with bhaktas and inimical people. Oh, when he is. Oh, I'll read the last part again. In some cases, eligibility neither increases nor decreases, but remains exactly the same. Okay, you're not moving anywhere. Nityananda Das. He asks, when does that happen? Babaji, when he associates equally with bhaktas and inimical people. You're not going to be moving very fast. Nityananda Das, under what circumstances can his advancement be assured? Babaji, when his association with bhaktas becomes prominent and his association with the inimical becomes minimal, his advancement is rapid. If you're sitting in your family home and you're always making considerations about your brother, your mother, your sister, all these different people in your family life, that is associating with non-devotees. So, huh?
What does this mean, this inimical?
It means not favorable. Not favorable for the transcendental journey. It means they want to convince you to actually remain paka in the material world, to remain healthy in your job, in your allegiance to making money, economic development, dharma, artha, kama, moksha. That's what they want, to make you suffer like they're suffering. But the bhakta wants to get out of that association, not healthy. When his association with bhaktas becomes prominent and his association with inimical becomes minimal, his advancement is rapid. Nityananda Das, what is the nature of the Kanishna Adhikar's inclination towards sinful and pious activities? Babaji, in the preliminary stage, his inclination for sinful and pious activities will be like that of the karmis and jnanis. But as he progresses in bhakti, these propensities will be dispelled, and his inclination to please Bhagavan will become prominent. Nityananda, dear Master, I have understood the situation of Kanishna Adhikaris. Now kindly describe the primary symptoms of the Madhyam Adhikari Bhaktas. We'll discuss this tomorrow. Okay. Chapter 8, Ki Jai. Fascinating. Fascinating. He spent a lot of time describing the Kanishta and how to come out of that. So Jaiva Dharma, Ki Jai. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Gaura Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai, Jaiva Dharma ki jai, Vaishnavas ki jai, Gaur Premanandi. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhavebhacha, Patitanam Pavnibhyo, Vaishnave Namo Namaha.